There we go. Now we are recording. All right, just gonna fade out the music.
Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Megan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good now. No, I'm just kidding. I was good
Okay.
before, but I'm definitely good now after you pointed out that our entrance music sounds like a movie soundtrack of some kind, shall we say?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
won't
good. It's
disclose.
okay. I'm into it. Yeah.
Cool. So Mind Shift Monday. We're a couple days late, but that's okay. We're gonna put it out for next Monday. We always record all our episodes here, so we're gonna do what we're gonna do this time. This theme of this week of these episodes is we just had a it was going to be a first live event. We had to call an audible. So full disclosure, my fiance Darcy was riddled with COVID, really bad COVID for like 2 weeks, bedbound and beyond. And and then of course I just living in a COVID house.
Yeah.
Definitely had
Close contact.
right? Close contact, had some symptoms. So kind of had to pull the plug early. I wasn't showing too much symptoms like leading into, but I didn't feel comfortable like knowing that I probably clearly have it. Right. And so we pulled the plug. We waited till like kind of the last minute, decided on, I want to say if the event was Saturday the 14th, and I want to say we even pulled the plug on it as 12th or 13th. We waited till last minute just to kind of see what happened. So contacted the rec center. It was going to be at Clareview Rec Center, and then decided, because we've done some Zoom webinars rather, that we would just switch it to that. Yeah. So as a result, there was definitely some confusion with the folks that were going to attend and not attend and so forth. But either way, like I say that to say that, we're going to be, I guess, because there is a lot of like reframing and changing and learning experiences as we led to our first live show that ended up not being a live show. And here we are. So I think it fits very well to, I guess, sort of shamelessly plug the show as well, which is available on our YouTube channel, by the way, and on Life Coach Daily, which is this podcast you're listening to. So it's the Modern Mom event. And it went very well. I thought the presentation was excellent on our behalf. Pat ourselves on the back there.
Right.
But so your section was great. You have the what is it, the slide deck game? Immaculate.
Oh, thank you. I thought yours was awesome too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Mind Shift Monday. So let's get into how the inner workings, the behind the scenes stuff of how we had to sort of pivot and be and then just not have too much like expectation, I would say, is kind of what I'm thinking. It was like, just have to kind of go with the flow. And because we could have easily felt, at any point defeated or pulled the plug altogether, but we stayed the course, and there's a lot of positives that came out of it. So what was your I'll give you the first opportunity. What was your sort of like mind shifts that you had to make in that week leading up?
You know what? It's so interesting for me, like practicing this, not even like just with you, but I also practice it like when it's not just a Monday, like just kind of reframing things for myself. And I was totally cool with the way things happened. Like I really had no negative energy around it. It was just, to me, kind of shifted to be a learning experience, to be another opportunity for me to practice my presentation skills, another opportunity to connect with you. Like I deeply believe that people are going to hear it and they're going to find value in it. And it was all positives for me, even though there was so many like times we had to change things. But I thought we both just like adapted perfectly and just were like, okay, well, we're just going to go to a Zoom event, and then, okay, well, we're just going to like record it. Honestly, it was still super positive for me. I was just kind of surprised with myself. Even my husband was like, you're taking this like very well. I'm like, yeah, because it just takes practice, right? And then it gets easier to kind of make that mind shift.
100%. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And we were lockstep with that as well. And I appreciate you being able to do that as well, because like that's generally how I run things. But I've also been in situations where the other person would go, oh well, that that changes everything. Like I've kind of lost interest now, right? Or he just gets discouraged, or not even like they don't step away, but they continue on with like a kind of this different vibe to them of like discouraged, or like kind of like, well, this isn't what I mean, kind of like using some humor to mask some disappointment and that type of thing, right? So which it could have easily gone. And the one thing that really stuck out in my head, the one thing that you said specifically was like, all the other stuff, the periphery and the, the results don't matter in a sense, because I believe in myself. Like, I mean, of course they matter if you change people's, you know what I mean? Like all the positive stuff, but the negative stuff that could have held you in place or, changed your perspective on it and allowed you to like remove yourself from a situation where you did not allow. You're like, I believe in you internalize these. Like, I believe in myself, so therefore this will work, which I appreciate it. That was awesome.
Powerful. I know, right? Thanks for bringing that up, because that's such a shift from who I was, even like in my, teens and like early 20s, just really not having that belief in myself. And I remember saying to you, like, I believe in this messaging, or however I worded it, right? And it's just like so crucial to have that kind of strong foundation in what you're doing before you're even putting something out, because we don't know how it's going to be received, right? And even if somebody had received the presentation and they were like, this sucks, I think I still probably would have reacted with like, no, it doesn't actually, right? And I don't even think it would have really sunk in. For
sure. And I love that. There's because exactly, the old me, and there's even a part of me still that that wants external validation,
right?
But it's so secondary to my own. I know what I've put in behind the scenes of work, and I know my intention here, right? So, and that is what anchors everything, and everything else is a byproduct, including the good. If somebody else really, really likes it, same category. It's that's great and that's wonderful, but that's out of your control, essentially, right? I mean, you do what you can and you present it as best you can. How other people perceive it or interpret it is, very hard to control or expect anything at that point, isn't it?
Yeah. Why I've never really been an external validation person is because I always find that external validation is rooted like in that other person's value, right? So whether or not they like me is generally based on whether I reflect something to them that they value. So whether they're into blondes or whether we have a common interest, it's not very objective, it's very subjective. That's why that external validation piece just has never felt good for me, because even when people have really liked me, going back to the company that we both worked for, a lot of the times, I mean, sometimes it was based on my work ethic, but a lot of the time it was based in because I reflected something back to them that they liked or valued, that was really had nothing to do with like the product I was putting out. It was more like I was tall and blonde, or maybe I was funny, but it wasn't about what I was delivering to them.
Yeah, no, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. And when I look back on my time, now that I'm getting further and further away from my time at that company, I'm still processing it, obviously, but it's like, there's a degree of me going, okay, how much of people enjoying working for me or with me or under me, or however you want to phrase it, was just I don't know. It
was about like what you could do for them.
Right. Exactly. Right. And that's why it would be, okay. So this is a good way to a case in point. As soon as I would leave a place, as soon as I would leave, like I'd be transferred or something, there would always be the initial like, oh, that's so sorry, who are we getting? I was like, I started picking up on that. I'm like, okay, so you're more worried about the fact that like you're in good with me, and then who's going to be the next person? Are they going to be an asshole, right? You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay. I started to kind of pick up on that.
They're like, oh, we liked Matt because Matt always, verification, and like if we just switch a shift, he was like cool with it, but whoever we get might not be cool with that. So
exactly. So it was more like and you pick up on that, and but and there's a percentage. It's not like 100% is that, but it's maybe 50-50 or depending on the person, right? But for sure, there's definitely part of that as well, which feeds into what you're talking about with it, why external validation is not something to put too much weight in, right?
I mean, hopefully with the presentation that we did, it's not just about what we can offer, it's more so the content that we're saying that's going to resonate with people, because it's leading them to a better version of themselves. And for sure, we're offering something in that information, and we both had like interactive examples to use, so it was like kind of tangible for them. But it's more than just like what we can provide. It's how we sort of support and walk with people, because we're not just giving them something to take away, right? And so
Right.
I think we're both really confident that we have things to offer people in that way, and that we offer something that's different than just this like experience of selling someone Arbonne, or like it's not that type of exchange, right? It's like we
Yeah.
also get something out of it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great mix of like tangible, practical, easy to apply, small steps that accumulate to big things, with like the intangible in the background, like becoming a better person, finding your values, so it's kind of, I think it's a lovely mix of both, tangible, practical, and the more, invisible things, as far as what you can. So I think it's absolutely so excellent. No, that turned out to be very good. We got to set the tone here, because we got 4 more shows to do.
I know, right? Okay.
And we mentioned on our on the Modern Mom event that we usually keep it to like 7 to I said something like 7 to 24 minutes, somewhere in there, so we like to have
7 to 45.
Let's be honest, 7 to 45 minutes, somewhere in there, is our usual show. So this was Mind Shift Monday, and tomorrow we'll be doing Toastmaster Tuesday. I am going to throw out, I got a very good idea. I'm going to see if you like it. We're going to each do 3-minute speeches. We'll go back to 3 minutes, because we're both doing it. About what we want to bring to the table for our next event, because we've talked about leveling up. So building on this last one that we just did, so we can either surmise what this last one was and where we want to go with it, however we want to do our speeches. So does that sound good to you?
Yeah.
Excellent. Sounds great. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Monday, Mind Shift Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow for Toastmaster Tuesday.
Okay. See